Alright, Part 218 Railroad Operating Practices. We're going to read Subpart B, Blue Signal Protection for Workers. Alright, Subpart B, Blue Signal Protection for Workers. The subpart prescribes minimum requirements for the protection of railroad employees engaged in the inspection, testing, repairing, and servicing of rolling equipment who activities required them to work on, under, or between such equipment and subjects that to danger and personal injury and proposed any of the movements such as such equipment such as movement such as equipment. 21822. The utility employees shall be subject to the Hours of Service Act and the requirements of training and testing control with alcohol and drug use and the hours of the service record and keeping providing and for the parts of 217, 219, 228 of this chapter. Utility employees shall perform the service of the members of only one of the train of the yard crew at any given time. Service with more than one crew may be sequentially, but not concurrent. The utility of the employee may be assigned with the duties of the service of the member for the training yard crew without protection otherwise required in Subpart D of Part 218 of the chapter. Only under the following conditions: the train yard crew is assigned a controlling locomotive that is under the actual of the assigned locomotive engineering of that of the crew. The locomotive engineering is the controlling locomotive over the while the locomotive stationary is replaced with the cab and another member of the same crew. The utility employee establishes the communication with the crew with the contracting designated crew member on the arriving of the time is defined, but for the purpose of the section, one or more locomotives coupled with or without the cars be for commencing of the duties with the crew. For before each utility employee commits to the duties designated with the crew member shall provide with the notice each of the crew member for the present identification of the utility employee. Once of all the crew members acknowledge of the notice designated with the crew member shall advise the utility employee for that he or she has arrived to work as part of the crew. Thereafter the communication shall be maintained in such a manner that each member of the train yard crew understands the duties to perform, whether those duties will cause any of the crew member to going under between the rolling equipment and the utility employee is forming one or more of the following functions set for the release of the handbrakes, coupling, uncoupling, air hose to other electronic and mechanical connections. Please repair rail cars for the coupling set, the wheels, blocks, wheel chains, conduct air brake tests, including cutting the air brake components within or out of the position, retrieving the valve, inspection, testing, installing, removing, replacing the rear of the marking device, ending of the train device. Under all other circumstances, utility employee working under or between the railroad rolling equipment must be provided with a blue signal protection in accordance with the statute 218-23 through 218-30 of this part. With the utility employee with the cease of work in the connection with the training is no longer under the between the equipment, the utility employee shall notify the designated crew member. The designated crew member shall provide the notice to each of the member of the utility employee is being released from the crew. Once each of the crew member has acknowledged the notice, the designated crew member shall notify the utility employee that he or she is released from the train yard crew. Communications required in Statute 218-22 C4 and D shall be conducted between the utility employee with the designated crew member. The communication shall be conducted either through direct verbal contact by the railroad compliance with the Statute 220 of this chapter, by oral telecommunications equivalent integrity. No more than 3 utility employees they be attached to the one train of the yard crew at any given time. Any railroad employee who is not assigned with the train yard crew are authorized to work with the crew under the conditions set forth in paragraph B of the section. Work required to provide with the blue signal in accordance with the statute 218-23 and 218-30 of this part. Nothing in this section shall affect the alternative form of the protection specified in section 221-16 of the chapter. Will respect the inspection of the rear end marks and devices. Statute 218-23 title 49. Blue signal display. Blue signal displays in accordance with the statute 218-25, 218-27, and 218-29. Significant workers are and under between the rolling equipment where they are displayed. The equipment may not be coupled to. The equipment may not be moved except for the provided with statute 217-18-29. Other than rolling equipment may not be placed on the same track so as to reduce the block of the view of the blue signal except as provided in statute 218-29 A, B, and C. And rolling equipment may not pass as displayed in the blue signal. B. The blue signal must be displayed in accordance with statute 218-25, 218-27, 218-29. Each of the craft of the group work prior to the group going under between the rolling equipment may only be removed for the same craft of the group that displayed them. 218.24. One-person crew. An engineering working alone as a one-person crew shall not perform the duties under the between the rolling equipment without blue signal protection with the compliance with Statute 218.27 or 218.29 unless the duties to perform are listed in the Statute 218.22 C5. The following protections are provided. Each of the locomotive in the locomotive engineering charge is either coupled to the train other than railroad rolling equipment to be assist or stopped a sufficient distance from the train or rolling equipment to ensure the separation of at least 50 feet before and on controlling locomotives unattended with more than one crew. Then shall secure the locomotive is follows. The throttle is in an idle position and the generator field switch is in an off position. The reserve handle is removed and is so equipped. 4. The installation switch is in the isolation position. 5. The locomotive independent or engine brake valve is fully applied. 6. The handbrake of the controlling locomotive is fully applied if so is equipped. Bright orange engineering tags at a minimum of 3 and 8 inch within the words "Signed locomotive do not operate" is displayed on the control stand of the controlling locomotive. When assisting another train in the yard crew, the equipment of the other crew who was assigned to the operate with the signal engineer must communicate with it directly, either by radio in compliance with Part 220 of this chapter, by oral telecommunications of equivalent integrity with the crew of the train, and be assisted with the crews of both trains must notify each of the other in advance of all moves to be made with their respective equipment prior to the attachment. The detachment assisting a locomotive, the crew of the train to be assisted must inform the signal engineer that the train is secured against the movement. The crew of the train to be assisted must not move the train or permit the train to move until the authorized by the single engineer. 218.25. Workers on the main track. When workers are on or under the between rolling equipment on the main track, the blue signal must be displayed at each end of the rolling equipment. If the rolling equipment is to be protected, includes one or more of the locomotives, the blue signal must be attached to the controlling locomotive at the location where it is readily visible, and the engine man and operator at the controls of the locomotive. When the emergency repair at work is done and under the between the locomotive and one or more of the cars coupled to the locomotive, the blue signals are not available. The engine man or the operator must be notified, but the effective measures must be taken to protect the workers making repairs. 218.27. Workers on the track other than the main track. When workers are under between rolling equipment on tracks other than the main track, a blue signal must be displayed at near each of the manually operated switches provided access to that track. Each manually operated switch provided with access to the track on which the equipment is located must be lined against the movement of the track and located on the effective locking device, and the person in charge of the work must be notified with the operator with the remotely controlled switch that works and is performed, having been informed by the operator that each of the remotely controlled switching provided with the access to the track on which the equipment is located has been lined against the movement of the track and locked as prescribed in 218.30. If the rolling equipment require the blue signal protection as provided for in this section on the track equipment equipped one or more of the crossovers, but the switch of each of the crossover must be lined against the movement through the crossover toward the rolling equipment. The switch of each of the crossover that provides access to the rolling equipment must be protected in accordance with the provisions of this paragraph A, B, and C of this section. If the rolling equipment to be protected includes one or more of the locomotive, the blue signal must be attached to the controlling and locomotive at the location where it is readily visible to the engine man operator at the controls of the locomotive. 218.29. Alternate methods of protection. Instead of providing a blue signal protection with the workers in accordance with Statute 218.27, the following methods for the blue signal protection may be used. When roller workers are under between the rolling equipment and the locomotive servicing track area, a blue signal must be displayed at near each of the switch provided with the entrance and departure from the area. Each switch provided with the entrance and departure from the area must be lined in movement of the area to locked from the effective locking device. 3. A blue signal must be attached to each of the controlling locomotive at the location were readily visible to the engine man operator at the controls of the locomotive. 4. If the speeds within the areas restricted to not more than 5 miles per hour are derail capable of restricting access to the portion of the track with the area of the rolling equipment is located with fulfill the requirement of the manually operated with the switch compliance with the paragraph A2. The section when positioned at least 50 feet from the end of the equipment is either protected by the blue signal when the lock is for derailing position with an effective locking device when the blue signal is displayed at the derail. A locomotive may be moved in the locomotive servicing area of the track after the blue signal has been removed from the entrance switch of the area. However, the locomotive must be stopped. short of coupling to another locomotive. 6. Locomotive B may be moved off the locomotive servicing area track off the blue signal that has been removed from the controlling locomotive to be moved from the area to the departure switch. If operated with the authorized employee under the direction of the person in charge of the workers, the locomotive protected by blue signals may be repositioned within the area of the blue signal has been removed from the locomotive to be repositioned, and the workers on the affected track have been notified of the movement. 8. The blue signal protection removed the movement of the locomotives provided in paragraphs A through 5 and 6, and the sections must be restored immediately after the locomotive has cleared the switch. When the workers are on and under the rolling of equipment in the car shop repair track area, blue signals must be displayed at near and each of the switch provided with the entrance and departure from the area. Each switching provided entrance and departure for the area must be lined against the movement to the area and locked with the effective locking device. Alright, 3. If the speed within the area of the restricted is not more than 5 miles per hour, the derail capable of restriction and access to the portion of the track written within the area within which the rolling equipment is located to fulfill the requirements of the manually operated switch in compliance with paragraph A2 of the section when positioned at least 50 feet of the end of the equipment to be protected by a blue signal. When locked in derailing position with an effective locking device, when on the blue signal is displayed at the derail, if operated with an authorized employee under the direction of the person in charge of the workman, a car mover may be used in the repositioned rolling equipment within this area after the worker is affected with the track. Have been notified of this movement except as provided in the paragraphs A and B of this section when working on the workers are on or under between the rolling equipment on any of the track other than the main track. Alright, a derailment capable of restriction access to the portion of the track on such equipment is located while the fulfillment requirements of the manually operated with a switch when positioned no less than 150 feet from the end of such equipment and each derail must be locked into the derailing position with an effective locking device, and blue signal must be displayed at each of the derail. When emergency repair work is to be done on and under between the locomotive and one or more of the cars that are coupled to the locomotive and the blue signals are not available, the engine man, operator, or the controls of the locomotive must be notified. The effective measures must be taken to protect the workers making the repairs. Alright, 218 remotely controlled switches. After the operator remotely controlled switches have received the notification required in the statute 218.27c, most line each remotely controlled switch against the movement of the track, applying the effective locking device to the lever button or other devices controlling the switch before he may inform the employee in the charge of the workers that the protection has been provided. The operator may not remove the locking device unless that has been informed of the person in charge of the workers and what is safe to do so. The operator must maintain a 15 days written record of each of the notification, which contains the following information: the name of the craft of the employee in charge who provided with the notification, the number and other designation of the track involved, the date and time, and the operator notified him the employee in charge of the protection has been provided in accordance with the paragraph A of the section, and the date and time of the operator was informed of the work that had been completed with the name and the craft of the employee in charge who provided with this information. Once again, that is Subpart B, blue signal protection. Subpart 218, applying blue signal regulations, Part 218, Subpart B.